Welcome to the Exceptional Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Anita Brooks, and here you'll find teaching topics, interviews, conversations, and coaching tips, all designed to help you level up. We all lead someone. The question is, are we leading well, exceptionally well? So join me on a quest, not for perfection, but absolutely for exceptional leadership. Welcome back. So last time we talked about just an overview of the 4 basic personality types in the P4 personality perspective. So now I want to talk to you about some very individual and some deeper information for each of the 4 personalities. The first one I'm going to talk about is, again, according to my grid, top left, and that's the popular personality. So they are extroverts, they're social by nature, they're people-focused, they love bright color, they're animated, playful, spirited, funny, lively, cheerful, inspiring, and spontaneous. And aren't those all just amazing words? Don't we want to celebrate the fact that there are popular personalities in the world? They're so many times fun-loving, and they bring, a lot of smiles and loads of joy, and making people laugh makes them feel happy. So if you are a popular personality, let me just affirm you by saying this. Thank you for adding more smiles, laughter, and joy to everything that we do. You lift our spirits, and you do make us feel better. So now let's talk about some strengths of the personality, of the popular personality. So again, they are energized by social interaction. They tend to be positive by nature. As a matter of fact, they will look for the positives even in the most negative of circumstances. They are interesting storytellers. So oftentimes a popular personality has some kind of a story to tell. And they're natural encouragers or cheerleaders by nature. So they really are rooting for people. They're supportive, and they make sure that they say so. They don't just keep those thoughts to themselves. And they are colorful. So I've already said they like bright colors, but they are also just colorful in their nature, in how they talk and how they walk, and the energy and the emotions that they bring into everything. And they also value nice appearances. So it's very important to them how they present themselves. Many popular personalities, it's important to them that they have the appearance of a nice home or a nice work setting. And so even though the popular personality tends to be disorganized by nature, oftentimes they will keep things clean and maintained because their motive is how that's going to appear to other people. And as well as being energetic, they are just naturally enthusiastic. So oftentimes if someone else has an idea, they are going to get on board quickly, and they're going to show a lot of support. They're going to be very enthusiastic about that, and they're going to encourage the person who came up with that idea. And oftentimes they'll volunteer to help. But with saying that, let me get into just a few of the weaknesses of the popular personality. So yes, some personality types would say that they are loud. They can be. They usually talk loud. They don't even realize they're talking loud. So some personalities can be very judgmental of that with the popular personality, but the popular, that's just their way of showing their energy and enthusiasm. So they don't realize how loudly they come across. Something else is they can be forgetful. So you know how just a couple of moments ago I said that they will often volunteer to help with something? Very true, but they have to be careful. And for those of us who are on the receiving end of their volunteerism, we need to be careful because they can literally forget that they volunteered to do something. And so many times they're accused of doing that intentionally or just not following through, when in fact it is just plain old forgetfulness. And I don't care what age they are. Another weakness for them is they tend to be people pleasers. So oftentimes they can really almost drive themselves crazy trying to make other people happy, but oftentimes they'll do that at their own expense. So that's something they need to guard against. They do operate almost out of pure emotion too. So, something that they will sometimes struggle with is they will listen to their emotions instead of facts. So they have to be careful with that. And they can be overly sensitive about themselves too. Sometimes a popular personality will convince themselves that someone else is talking about them or thinking about them, when in fact, that's not the case at all. But they will think along those lines. They also, as much as they are deeply sensitive about other people, sometimes they'll come across as being insensitive, more thinking about self than thinking about others. Now, in the depth of their spirit, that's not who they are, but every once in a while, that will bubble up to the surface, and sometimes they are misinterpreted as being very selfish personalities. Another thing that popular personalities have to be careful of is they can be poor secret keepers. It can be so hard when you are naturally bubbly, you're an extrovert, you think out loud, and sometimes you just like bloop, 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 and you blurt out something that someone else told you in confidence. And many a popular personality has gotten themselves in trouble with that because it's so hard for them to keep a secret, to keep something they know to themselves. And so that's something that they have to work on. But I can assure you, it can be worked on. It can be overcome. Just like they're naturally poor listeners, another weakness of the popular personality. But if they really focus on it and they practice and they work on it and they exercise their listening skills, they can become a good listener. And every once in a while, a popular personality, especially if they get excited, they can tend to embellish or exaggerate a little bit. And sometimes they think they hide that a little bit better than they do. So again, just another cautionary note. Some reminders for popular personalities. Try to focus on not repeating what you've already said. That does drive some other personality types just crazy, especially your polar opposite, which is the perfect personality. So in my grid, in my spectrum of P4 personality perspective, which you can go to my website, anitabrooks.com, and you can get a free copy of that. But in that grid, you'll see that there's the square, if you follow that around. So there's a primary and a secondary that all of us predominantly will operate out of over the other two personality types. Doesn't mean we don't have some of those traits, but they'll be much, much less. And we can be a primary and a secondary following the square in any type of a mix. So we can be a popular peaceful or peaceful popular. We can be a popular powerful or powerful popular. We can be a powerful perfect or perfect powerful. We can be a perfect peaceful or peaceful perfect. But there's never a true popular perfect or perfect popular, or a true powerful peaceful, peaceful powerful. The X doesn't work. Okay? X means no. No mix of that personality. If I get an assessment that comes in, and again, I have a free assessment on my website. If I get one that comes in like that, I know that it's one of a few things that's taken place. Either someone's rushed going through the assessment. Maybe they didn't understand a handful of definitions of some of the words. For some people, it's masking. It's because from childhood, usually, there's been some kind of trauma, abuse, conditioning of some sort that has made that individual not feel safe or comfortable being who they truly are. Okay, so like human personality, I will tell you right now, I do not believe it changes. I believe that whatever we are born with, that core wiring stays with us. We can learn behaviors. We can learn to overcome weaknesses. We can learn to capitalize on strengths. We can learn from the strengths of opposite personalities from us. But still yet, the core of who we are remains the same. So for some personalities, or from some people, I should say, their natural personality can almost get lost. They lose who they truly are because of outside influencing factors. So sometimes that's an adult in their life, a parent, teachers, school administrators, grandparents, aunts, uncles, some type of authoritative figure oftentimes can make us feel ashamed of who we truly are. So for instance, growing up, I'm all extrovert by personality. I was told throughout my childhood that I was a loudmouth and I talked too much and I needed to shut up and I need to tone it down and worse. I mean, there were some really hurtful things that were said to me through the years. So I learned that it was not okay to be me. It wasn't okay to think out loud. It wasn't okay to be emotive. It wasn't okay to be enthusiastic and energetic and excited about life in general. I even learned to some degrees it wasn't okay to be positive and to look for the positive, which is naturally who I am. And so as an adult, I had to go through a lot of hard intentional work to unpack what that conditioning was and learn how to be free to be me. I've done it and I feel so much better. And I've realized that so many things that other personalities in my childhood thought made me bad or inferior, it was just a misdiagnosis. It was a misperception based on their preferences, based on their personality wiring. And so I have learned that as much as I want to be respectful of others, that I can still live in freedom. I'm free to be me. And so I don't do that where I'm obnoxious with other people. I am mindful of my extroversion. I really work hard to keep it tamed and contained in an appropriate way, but not to douse my own fire and not to let anybody else do that to me either. But some people have not learned those skills yet in life, those life skills. And so for them, maybe they were told that their personality, some of their characteristics were bad. And so when they take the assessment, it's really hard for them to know how to answer because it's become so subconsciously ingrained in them who they're supposed to be that they don't have that freedom to be me for themselves. And so oftentimes I can help someone work through that. Most of the time, frankly, because I've been a certified personality trainer for decades now, I'm literally able to go and I can see how they answered their questions. And I'm telling you, 9.8 times out of 10, I can accurately figure out what their real personality is, or mix is, whether what the primary and secondary are. And I will say this, for many peacefuls, probably, I'm going to say at least 7 out of 10 times, when I get an assessment that comes up as if it's a polar opposite, it's because their primary or secondary is peaceful and they're trying to answer like they think they should versus maybe who they truly are. Again, just important information if you take that assessment, but never an X. Square is always there, okay, as far as personality, primary and secondary. Okay, so other reminders for the popular personality. I digressed a little bit there. But again, try not to repeat what you've already said. Don't enter someone else's space without permission. Many populars don't realize that some personalities are very uncomfortable if people come into their personal space without permission, without authorization. So you want to be careful that you're not getting too close into someone else's space, especially your polar opposite, the perfect personality. That's a lot of times, most of the time, a no-go for them. And they are not natural huggers by nature. Another thing about a popular personality, work hard not to interrupt or cut other people off when they are talking, to tell them how you had a similar experience or tell them some story that's relatable to you. Be very, very careful, because that comes across as disrespectful. It also comes across as being self-centered. And though that's, I'm sure, not your motive, that perception can really cause a lot of people to be resistant. And then lastly, remember that not everyone is interested in a long, drawn out story. Watch your other people's body language, listen to their tone of voice, pay attention to eye contact to see if they're responding. That will tell you a lot. So some more things about popular personality that I think can be helpful is understanding some of their challenges. So popular personalities are naturally naive. They have like this childlike naivete that can be charming, but for some people it also is very irritating, because they feel like that the popular personality is not being authentic and that they're just pretending to be naive. That's not the case, but it is true that those kinds of conflicts can take place. They can be challenged by distractions. They're easily distracted. Oftentimes when somebody jokes about someone that's like squirrel, because, they lose their focus easily, sometimes that's a popular personality. And they are forgetful by nature. A popular personality's natural voice is brash and loud, and it can, again, lend to and enhance that perception, that misperception that you're self-centered. So this can cause issues of misinterpretation when you're interacting with other people, personally or professionally. And some people can perceive you as being uninterested in them or even narcissistic. So you really want to be careful with that. A popular personality can struggle with productivity because you get bored easily. Some people will accuse you of being flighty and unfocused, which creates patterns of inconsistency and unreliability. So in the workplace especially, but even in projects around the home or in trying to help other people, this can slow down progress, and it can create more resistance as conflicts arise from that. As a popular personality, you can feel frustrated and or angry when others do not show the same level of interest, excitement, and appreciation as you. Just remember that sometimes we all express ourselves differently. It doesn't mean that we don't have enthusiasm. Not all of us just show it as much. We don't put it on display as much as a popular personality. And of all the personalities, the popular is the most prone to financial strain. When you don't consider whether you can truly afford the gifts and the tangible expressions of care that you want to show people, or the bright and or blingy clothes and accessories and furnishings you like, the costs can rack up. So just be very, very careful of, that situation for you. Overcoming some challenges for popular personality. Exercise intentionality in slowing down your thoughts, speech, and actions. Sometimes popular personalities speak so fast that other people have a really hard time keeping up with them and even understanding what they are saying, because sometimes it sounds like a really fast mumble. Really be careful that you are speaking at such a rate that other people can digest what you're saying. So don't rush ahead of the person or the situation in front of you, thinking about how you want to respond, interrupting people or cutting off their thoughts, speaking so fast that other people can't understand what you're saying, or rushing past important details. Another way that a popular personality can overcome challenges, make it your mission to listen twice as much as you speak. When you feel miffed with someone else for talking too much, ask yourself this question: have I ever dominated a conversation? Odds are, if you're popular like me, you have. Another thing is work on reducing emotional overload in your tone and stick to a consistent point without unnecessary repetition when you're on the phone with someone, speaking in person, in texts, emails, or any other communication. This will make other people more responsive to what you think and what you say if you reduce some of the emotions that we just naturally tend to put into what we do. Even the use of exclamation points. We populars and powerfuls love exclamation points. When struggling with feelings of insecurity because you feel like others are appreciated more than you, remind yourself that sometimes it's appropriate to say, it's okay for others to be noticed and in the limelight. Actually, I just need to celebrate them. And make a focus on gratitude and honoring the secrets and space of others a habit. Instead of trying to impress people with what you know, pushing to find out what you want to know, or invading personal space with unrequested hugs, questions, or your own similar stories, ponder reversing the tables. How would you feel if someone tried to pry into your private business or secrets and made your circumstances about them? That could really help a lot. Let's talk about popular personality talents. Storytelling, forgiving, and being committed to raising the spirits of people. That's a talent you've got. A popular personality's natural thirst for giving and getting attention draws them to brighten the world with a flair for the inspirational. They take the boring out of things. Often a popular personality pours themselves into demonstrating their concern for others. Their inner desire to affirm people boosts morale, which can help save money, time, and energy in the workplace. Their popular contagion helps them infuse fresh wind into tired people, projects, and processes. And of all the personalities, they most often provide a voice of delight for others because they do see the positives. They point to creative options and remind people to look beyond the present moment. And finally, I'm going to share the best job fits. Now, these are generalities, but the best job fits that in my work, again, certified personality trainer, decades of experience, but that I have found work really well for popular personalities. So actors, being beauticians, coaches, entertainers, event planners, flight attendants, insurance agents, leaders, nurses, politicians, receptionists, reporters, teachers, travel agents. Bringing your personality flair into any one of those positions, along with behaviors that you learn, balancing that and being respectful of other personalities and their needs, it means that you could equip yourself to do very, very well at any one of those positions. And I'm not saying that those are the only ones. I'm just saying that those are the most common from what I have found in my work. Okay, now let's move to the powerful personality. The powerful personality on my grid is top right, and it's the second part of the extroverted team, if you will, of personalities. So powerful personalities, I've already said they're extroverts. They're strategic by nature. They're project focused. And in their clothing style and choices, oftentimes they're function over fashion. Many times you'll see black and white as a basis for maybe a pop of red or like a deep gold or something like that. But they really tend to wear clothing that is more bolder, but it's still going to be functional over fashionable. Oftentimes for a powerful personality, they will wear nice shoes, but again, they're going to make sure that they are comfortable and that they're going to not be a distraction to them. They don't want their feet or their toes pinched in a tight shoe just because it might look nice. Popular personality, conversely, no, they would probably be okay with the pinched toes if they look good in them. So just a little bit of a difference. Adjectives that describe powerful personalities: competitive, independent, leader, bold, self-reliant, outspoken, resourceful, mission-minded. This driven personality is on a mission to make lives better for their family, friends, and some of them, if they're in the entertainment industry, even their fans. But making a difference makes them feel energized. Now, if you fall into the category of powerful personality, I want to affirm you. I want to say thank you for seeing what some of the rest of us have missed, for your vision, and for making things happen, because you are the get or done personality. And frankly, a lot of us couldn't get it done without you. Now, for powerful personality strengths, they are inspiring. They are also energized by social interactions. But for theirs, there's always going to be some kind of mission undergirding that social interaction. So they like groups of people. They like team building. They like collaboration and those type of things. Whereas a popular personality, oftentimes when it comes to social interactions, is more about, let's just have fun together. Let's just enjoy each other. Let's seize the moment. But powerful personalities are also positive. They are visionary. They're natural motivators. They're practical by nature. They value truth and justice. As a matter of fact, a powerful personality goes through life almost with an invisible radar on, just analyzing whether or not other people are being truthful with them and looking for fairness and justice. And they are encouraging and energetic. Now, some weaknesses of the powerful personality. They can be loud, impatient. They can cross things off of their list too quickly because they want to get things done fast, because they always have a long to-do list. Whether it's written, whether it's handwritten, whether it's in a device, whether it's mental, just a list they have in their mind, they have a to-do list every day. And it's usually overflowing, much more than any one person could ever do. Frankly, powerful still usually do more in a day than a lot of other personality types. It's just how they're wired. But if they cross things off too quickly, then they can miss important details along the way, because they just want to hurry up and get it done. They often overlook important details, I just said. And so that can show up, like, say, for a student who rushes through a test or some kind of homework assignment. And so they're not paying close enough attention to some of the specifics, but they just want to, win. They want to get done first. It can also happen in the workplace. They're wanting to win and get a project done first, or they're part of a project done just so they can, say that they did and that they've already completed it. And in doing so, sometimes they're not paying close enough attention to some of the details. As a matter of fact, a powerful personality oftentimes will not read full instructions. So they may miss important pieces of what they're even supposed to do. Powerful personalities also are notorious for not reading emails or even text messages all the way through to the end. Again, missing important information there. Powerful personalities are easily frustrated with lack of productivity from other people. And they can be overly judgmental and also insensitive to others. So oftentimes they don't hold back. They are not afraid of saying what they truly feel. And especially their peaceful polar opposite, that can be not only intimidating, but it can be downright paralyzing for that personality. So you need to really think about that, powerfuls. Make sure that you are not making assumptions and suppositions about people without facts, and make sure you're not coming across so sternly. And sometimes you say, well, I'm blunt. That's just how I am. Be careful with that, because as much as you want to make progress, you can actually slow down your own progress by doing that to other people. Some reminders for powerfuls. Try not to interrupt others, especially to tell them what they're thinking. Powerful personalities, many are horrible about this. I have seen many a powerful personality stop someone and say, I know what you're really thinking. And then they just go on. And this poor other person is trying to say, no, that's not what I'm thinking. But the powerful just tunes them out. They don't listen. That is a terrible thing to do to another human being. And it, again, is going to hinder progress. Something else is don't paralyze others by intimidating them. It will backfire and you will lose any forward movement that you've created. You might think, oh, well, I need to crack the whip on them or they just need to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. Well, if I don't push them, they're not going to be motivated. You know what? There's a lot to be said for positive reinforcement. And for powerfuls, that's not always the natural place for you to go to. But you need to learn about power or positive reinforcement, and you need to utilize that. That needs to be one of the strategies in your arsenal, because I can tell you, if you are putting too much pressure on some people, then it will break them, and you can lose not only any forward movement, but you could lose them and their willingness to even work with you. Another thing is don't assume you know what someone is going to say. Stop. Listen to them and listen to hear them and be willing to learn. You might be amazed at what comes out of that. You might be amazed to find out that sometimes you were just plain old wrong. We all are sometimes. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't make us bad or less intelligent. All of us make mistakes. But if we're not willing to listen to other people, we're not going to learn. And if we aren't willing to listen to other people, I can assure you, because I've seen this many, many times. I've worked with many powerful personality leaders who have fallen on the sword of their own arrogance. Please, I beg you, don't let that be you if you are powerful. And remember, not everyone prefers bullet points. Take a breath and try to appreciate the stories, the details, and the questions that others need to share. I know if you're a powerful personality, and again, raising my hand because I am one, we prefer very concise, brief, just give me the bullet points, the highlights, because I got to hurry because I got to get things done fast. But again, sometimes we'll miss important details, and at the very least, we're going to come across as impatient and disrespectful to other people if we do not allow them to share information in the way that works for their nature, their personality. Powerful personality challenges, again, can be intimidating, blunt, and judgmental by nature. A powerful personality's natural voice is direct and loud, giving the sense that you are angry sometimes, particularly with the individual that you're speaking to, even if you're simply thinking out loud. So this can cause issues of misinterpretation when interacting with others, personally or professionally, as people can perceive you as unapproachable or unaccepting. See, we powerfuls, when we're focused or concentrating, we oftentimes can look angry, we can sound angry. So we have to be very, very careful with that. And we have to be strategic and intentional, that we make sure that when we communicate, sometimes we need to soften things up a little bit and even slow our speech down. Do you know that the faster that we speak, that actually can trigger the emotion of fear in other people because it sounds angry? Because anger usually comes in fast spurts of communication. A powerful personality can struggle to relax because we fear failure, or as some accuse, powerfuls can be workaholics, which creates a pattern of fatigue and stress. This can slow down progress as mental and physical exhaustion begins to take hold. As a matter of fact, many powerful personalities can reach a place of burnout if they are not intentional to take moments, to schedule moments to relax. And as a powerful personality, they can feel frustrated or angry when others do not show the same level of commitment, engagement, and honest effort as them. Of all the personalities, the powerful is most prone to burnout. So I just brought that up. But when you don't slow down enough to celebrate your achievements and show appreciation to those in the trenches with you, but instead immediately move on to the next mountain to conquer, the next thing we need to improve on, the next problem we need to solve, it can eventually and ultimately throw you into an emotional brick wall, and it can cost you collaboration as well as your own mental and physical health. So really think about that. Be careful if you're a powerful personality. Overcoming challenges for powerfuls. Exercise intentionality in slowing down so others can keep up. Don't blame them for requiring more processing time or needing additional data to feel comfortable about making decisions. Answer questions and quell discomfort. Then people will quickly get on board. Make it your mission to offer compliments and encouragement, even though I know that doesn't always feel comfortable to you. That you sometimes tell yourself, well, you have to motivate people. I'm going to tell you, you're going to motivate people a lot more when you give compliments versus constantly coming across as being overly critical and impossible to please. When you feel irritated with someone else, ask yourself this question: have I ever acknowledged or affirmed them? If the answer is no, you need to start immediately. If the answer's been a while, you need to do it again. If the answer is, well, sometimes I do, I'll bet you need to be more consistent. But really consider other people. Don't just use people. Don't use them for what needs to be tackled or accomplished, but work with them and be considerate of them and their needs too. Work on softening your tone and lowering the decibel when you're on the phone, speaking in person, in text, emails, or any other communication. This will make others more comfortable about responding to you and telling you the truth. And don't forget the power of nonverbal language, facial expressions, body posture, sighs, grunts, and loud breaths. Mental judgment, which by the way we project out even when we think we hide it, as well as disconnectedness when multitasking when other people are talking to us. So sometimes we powerfuls convince ourselves that we're good multitaskers, but we don't realize how rude we come across to other people, which by the way can cause them to disengage because we're working on something while they're trying to have a conversation with us. When struggling with feelings of helplessness because you cannot fix everything, or there are just not enough hours in the day, remind yourself that sometimes it's appropriate to say, it is not my job to control everything or everyone, or solve the entire world's problems. I need to focus what is in my sphere of control. I need to focus on what's in my sphere of accountability. What am I accountable for? I need to focus on what is within my sphere of authority and not step beyond that. Because many a powerful personality has gotten themselves in trouble because they're doers all right, but sometimes they're trying to step into someone else's place of doing, and it's not the right place for them. They weren't asked, they weren't told, they weren't given permission to do that, and so they can overstep their bounds. And then another thing for powerful personalities is make a focus on gratitude and remembering other people's feelings a habit for you. Instead of concentrating solely on what you and others are doing, what you and others need to be doing, or what frustrates you that isn't being done, ponder accomplishments. What has already been achieved or what challenges have already been overcome that day or in the days prior to that. You'll be amazed not only how much better you're going to feel, but how much you're going to get more of a cooperative spirit from other people around you. Powerful personality talents. So powerful personality talents are these. You're actioned, determined, and good under pressure. A powerful personality's attitude that influences and inspires others to do more than they thought was even possible themselves. Often, powerfuls invest themselves in helping others achieve more, and their inner desire to learn for their lifetime can teach them skills for saving time, energy, and money, information they're happy to share. Powerful leadership can help prod others when they need a boost of enthusiasm, creativity, or an accountability prompt. Of all the personalities, powerfuls often provide a voice of potential for other people because they are competitive, they consider various opportunities, and they see in other people and remind them of their talents and abilities. Sometimes things that person is overlooking themselves. Now, job fits for the powerful personality, again, from my experience as a certified personality trainer for many years, I find that these are very commonly great job fits for this personality type. Administrators, athletes, business owners, entrepreneurs, developers, executives, lawyers, attorneys, medical doctors, military personnel, police officers, producers, race car drivers, realtors, strategic analysts, and team facilitators. Now again, that's not a completely expansive list, but I still think that gives you a pretty broad breadth of some things that powerful personalities are most likely suited to do. Well, I hope this has helped you, but we're going to stop here because this is going to be part 1 of a 2-part series. And next time we're going to come back and we're going to cover these things for the introverted sides of the personality spectrum in P4 personality. So we'll talk about the perfects and the peacefuls. And again, we'll go in depth and talk about some areas that they're going to want to watch for, but also some amazing, naturally talented, suited, skilled, and able things that they can do to help make the world a better place too. If you are a popular or powerful, I hope that you have found some really good information to help you improve your life professionally and personally. If you work with a popular or powerful personality, or both, I hope that this teaches you a little more insights about who they are, why they do what they do, and it helps you give them a little grace as well as some deeper appreciation for the gifts that they bring to the world. But no matter what your personality is, remember, every day of your life, you have a chance to make your difference, to make your mark. But to do that, you need to stay intentional and you need to be exceptional. Thank you for joining me for another episode of the Exceptional Leadership Podcast. There's magic in meeting with an objective, and I always have an objective for you, not only in these episodes, but also from the other resources I offer on my website, anitabrooks.com. That's ANITABROOKS.com. There you'll find information on digital courses, webinars, books, workbooks, of course, my in-person P4 power coaching for businesses and organizations. And if you need a speaker for your conference or your strategic retreat, I'm your gal. But I'm also excited to let you know about a new service that we're offering. For less than half the price of a daily Starbucks latte for a month, you can join our P4 Power Coaching community. This is a monthly membership where you'll get insider tips. And you'll also be able to join our monthly Zoom meetings that are 1 part strategy sessions, 1 part mastermind, 1 part networking, 1 part coaching. I can promise you, you'll not only learn from me, but you'll learn from others in the group. We'll also have monthly webinars as part of the P4 Power Coaching community, and we'll have coaching resources and exercises. And you'll get first opportunities and special offers for many of the other things that we have to offer. And of course, you will get leadership encouragements. The P4 Power Coaching community is all about growth, success, and celebrating our wins. And remember, it's never too late for a fresh start with fresh faith. So embrace your exceptional leadership impact with fresh resolve to make the difference you were made for.